Gen AI or AI or machine learning or LLM or all these or every word is being used very interchangeably these days, right? But Gen AI being the most common word, right? Uh, so what Gen AI means for enterprises is if you want to kind of automate or execute any of your tasks, basically, it can be replicated with an automation as well, right? So you don't have to use all the big jargons and the buzzwords to kind of make it happen as well, right? So for enterprises, the simple answer is if you want to kind of predict what you want to do or automate anything you want to do, that's where Gen AI comes into play, right? And it relies heavily on the data, whether your in-house data or in case your use cases are using external data, use your data to find what you want to do or predict what you want to do or solve some of the use cases because there are so many use cases regarding OPEX saving, CAPEX saving investments, depending upon kind of which industry you are focusing on. These automation use cases, AI use cases, which were not which were feasible obviously in the past decade as well, but using some standard algorithms now has gone, I would say, multi.
Welcome to Vodcast Collaborative with Deepak Bajaj and Praveen Puram. Today we have a returning guest who has taken his expertise in AI blended with customer success to the next level. We are thrilled to welcome back Atul Khanna, a seasoned leader in customer success, market expansion, and AI driven innovation. With close to 3 decades of experience, Atul has led high impact projects, securing multi-million dollar deals and driving strategic growth for some of the world's biggest tech players, which we all are familiar with their names. Now, as the founder and the CEO of Atrano, he's tackling a niche issue in AI aggregation, helping business implement scalable, customer-centric Gen AI solutions that drives a real impact. And the world is waiting for that. In today's episode, the theme empowering business with scalable Gen AI, we will dive into the vision behind Atrano, the challenges of AI adoption, and the future of AI driven business transformation. So, welcome, Atul. We are thrilled to have you back.
Thanks, Deepak. Thanks for the invitation, and it's good to be back.
We are waiting for your presence from last so many months till the time when you started the Atrano, and I'm sure that you will get a decent time after settling all these the new venture which you have started. So welcome back and congratulations for setting up Atrano.
Yeah, no, thanks, Deepak. I know you're one of those who pushed me into this domain as well. So, no, that's good. I know last time when we were talking, I was into the corporate world, doing something different, or I would say similar, but in a different domain. This one is a new arena, new step towards it, and looking forward to grow in this one as well and talk about it.
Wishing you best of luck for this venture. But now, as you mentioned, the last time we were talking something different about the corporate world, but now you have launched Atrano. So tell us about how this transition happened and what is Atrano all about.
Yeah, I would say the transition is not an abrupt transition, I would say, and it's not a one-day decision, right? So all of us read the news that there's a unicorn here, unicorn there being built, and the fundings are going on for $1 billion. All of us gets excited about that on Friday, and then I would say taper off by Monday, right? I'm also one of those. I'm no special. And I was thinking about starting something. The name wasn't defined by that time. Basically, I thought about it for I would say almost a year or so. Thought about it on Fridays and then kind of let it go by Monday, right? When you go back to your corporate life, you have more than I don't know 40, 60, 90 hours debate going on work, and then you kind of ignore your, I would say, personal initiatives which you started, right? So I would say why I started now, basically, the answer is simple, right? So at some point of time, you need to make a decisions that you have learned good stuff in corporate life. I kind of got a good exposure of how the world is working, how the market is working. And I saw some gaps which I thought maybe I can kind of fill it in because you always need a good idea to kind of get it started. You don't want to start it for the sake of starting it as well. If you see a market gap, you see a potential opportunity, that's what you want to fit in. And that kind of made me kind of jump the ship and start at Riano maybe 6 months or so back.
Mm. So corporate world employee, getting a monthly checks. Now as an entrepreneur, so what are the first thought which came in your mind 6 months back? So were they scary, excited, or there was some self-doubt which generally comes, whether to take this step or not?
Yeah, I would say scary part is a big strong word, which I didn't feel, which is to a surprise. It's not a sales pitch which I say it like nobody gets scared or I didn't get scared. It's a good monthly steady income, right? Which all of us like. That's why I didn't jump the ship year 5, 10 years back as well, where I thought about it on Fridays and didn't do it on Monday. So it's a different word. The reason I would say self-doubt continue to happen, but
Hmm.
not to a scary level. Let's say it this way. You always look for new opportunities once you have your own stuff going on, right? But the exposure and the horizon which you get compared to what you were in a corporate world, right? Obviously, you have boundaries, you have limitations, you have quarterly goals, this and that, and you have limited options, limited customer base to sell as well, because that's how the big corporates are organized, right? So with this new initiatives, once I opened my mind, I saw the opportunities from what I can, which market I can go after, and what I can take it to the market was almost infinity, and that's kind of our logo also, infinite possibilities. So that's how kind of this transpired as well, that the infinite options, that kind of put a piece to your head as well, and take care, I would say, take your self doubt out of your mind as well, that the market is huge, the potential is huge. And once you kind of have your own stuff going on, and then you can maneuver from left to right whenever you want to. And the decision making, that's the biggest change, in a corporate world. When you want to do something and when you go through an approval process of 6 months, by that time your client has stopped picking up your calls because you didn't respond. Those things kind of went away. So the agility which comes back, which I learned 20 years back when I was in a startup, came back, and I realized it's a good peace of mind. So it's a different word. I won't say which one is easier. Both has its own challenges and his own flavor of motivation. So both are well suited for everyone.
Mm. Now, I love your concept of infinity because people generally have their own limited boundaries, which creates a self-doubt definitely. The second part is the decision making. Obviously, you have a full hand, and definitely you know where the ship should move and what opportunities. So, yeah, these type of pointers will definitely help a lot of people who are actually thinking again on the Friday nights what to do on the Monday, and the Monday is a little way with the corporate pressure and the targets. But thanks for bringing these points. I'm very much interested into the meaning of the word Etrano and the vision which you are carrying.
Yeah, no, Triano, obviously, as a word, there's a surprising story as well. I have told to some of my friends and colleagues as well. So it's a combination of a family name as well. Atul Neharohi, and that's our family name as well. It's a some short form on some syllables of that as well. And the best part of the story is, when you start a name, you kind of come up with you think about few names, right? Because whichever name you could think of is generally taken, right? So that's default in today's world now. So we came up with 3, 4 names, and then this name happened to be picked up. And the funny part of the story is this is a kind of a typo of the original name, which was picked up initially. And my son picked up this name, and we saved almost $3,000 on the day zero itself. So it's a good blessing start. Being an Indian, we all believe in those good blessings as well. So I was like, okay, that's good. Then we'll go ahead with this name as well, and try to kind of make everybody remember this name as well.
So you're building a legacy. So it's the first start.
Yes, yes, yes. And even the logo, which is infinite, is also picked up by my son as well. And he gave me the explanation why he kind of picked up this one. So I was like, okay, now you have a reason to pick up this as well. So like, okay, that's good.
No, no, I agree, agree. It's a very different name. And obviously the logo itself talk, and thanks for clarifying this infinity because of and what you're thinking around. So definitely it matches with. So now, as the name talk about AI aggregation, so we all know AI is a buzzword. Everyone is talking today. If you want to sell anything, you have to bring AI flavor on top of that. That's a rule of the thumb, in today's world. But if you look at this AI adoption, it is getting very complex, especially in the enterprises. So, what specific challenges does Etrano aim to solve, and how it differentiate itself from the crowded AI markets?
Yeah, so actually, Atriano focus is very simple, very, I would say, twofold only, right? So coming back to the reason of why Atriano exists, right? Why it needs to exist, because we have this big corporate companies who kind of sells multi-million dollar deals, who are kind of into the relationship side of the word, I call them. They are not into the innovation side of the word, right? They are into selling. They have all the big contracts, they sell those. They want to kind of bring niche solution, which for all the XYZ reasons, the reasons they cannot build those, right? Because they are not structured for that. And then there is a big startup group which continues to happen every year or every day, basically, which bring this nice innovative solutions, right? And they are very, very small. They are not organized to sell it to the big corporations, because they are very techie guys, very focused guys who can build the solution, who can churn out a use case within an hour or within a week or within a day itself, right? Depending upon what you're trying to achieve. But they don't have the arms and the legs to go after the big corporate, because that seeding time and then the length it takes to kind of get into a POC, or not, forget about the POC, to get a meeting itself is a process in itself, and most of the companies doesn't have the time and energy to kind of focus on that. So what I do is I basically bridge the gap between those two. That's what the AI aggregator means, basically. So what Tetriano does is we have some of the, I would say, the built-in solution, which we take it from the third-party partners, basically, which goes as is. And we build the services around the same as well. What that means is it needs to be deployed into an enterprise. It needs to be integrated into their existing system, because nobody likes a solution which is going to work standalone, right? Which is external. Everything needs to be integrated into their existing ecosystem. And enterprises has 10, 20, 50, 100 of the existing workflow solution which is in place as well, and this one cannot work as a standalone. It needs to fit in. So that's what Atriano does: bring a solution which can fit in. And also the second fold solution is we build the Scrum teams as well. And we kind of build, either customize that solution or build it from scratch as well. If the enterprise wants to build their own internal AI solution, we help them kind of help them build those solutions as well, so that they can kind of be, I would say, be in the front running race of AI instead of being left behind as well. Because that's the main thing. If you don't adopt AI the way it is moving fast, you are going to be left behind, and you won't see the savings which others are kind of getting it by implementing AI or doing something different or something new, what is possible now within last year or 2 years, which wasn't even people thinking 3 or 5 years back.
And also the balancing act of taking their legacy system also, because you cannot
Yeah.
shut down there in the one night. You are not going to shut it down. It should be gradually going into, yeah, you need a person who understands both the world, and Atreno fills that gap. So thanks for bringing it up.
Yes.
So like now you are in the market, right? It's an open market. What is the opportunities, or what are the response you are getting from the customers? Are they open? Are they willing to talk with the newcomers? That is also one of the, a scary factor of for most of the people who want to become an entrepreneur.
Yes. So I would say it's not a one word answer. Let me say it this way. Obviously, I'm also seeing some warm welcomes, and I'm also seeing some hard welcome as well, right? That's part of the game. So That's why initially for any new entrepreneur like me, the focus is the warm leads, right? Where people know you, people know what you bring, what you have brought to the table in last decades, basically. Like there's a common saying, I don't know if I have used it in the past or not, but people buy from people, right? People don't buy from companies. People trust people. So if you are bringing if I'm going into the market basically, or any of my sales reps are going into the market, they if the companies knows that they have done business with them, that the trust factor which is out there. And to your surprise, I was with somebody yesterday, and he was kind of we were kind of going into a different market for a different solution, and I was mentioning
Mm.
the same thing as like the guy you are talking to, he trusts you, and you
Mm.
trust me at the end of the day, right, that we can deliver it, because that's the chain reaction. That's what people need, the confidence, the activities, the relationship, and the work you have done in the past, right, that you're not going to let it down. Because at the end of the day, the big name, the organization doesn't matter at the end of the day. They do play into the role to kind of build the teams accordingly, but it's the trust factor which is out there. And that's how the word is working as well, right? So to kind of combine the relationship with the right products to get into the market. And obviously the newer cold leads are always hard to get as well. So and there it has to be a solution based only, where your solution has to do what it is supposed to do as well, and your teams has to deliver what you are supposed to deliver as well. So there are hard challenges in out there as well. There's no red carpet market. Otherwise, all of us has been successful by this time itself.
Mm, a very important message. Now, that's also lead to another challenge that the person who was working, like let's take an example of a techie, right? That guy is working at the back end, office, developing beautiful codes using AI and new beautiful languages. Now, when he has not been exposed to the customer world, you know, and now when he reached to the market, people don't know him. They don't know understand what this guy was because he was always the structure has been organized in such a way that developers are working at the hood. They are
Yeah.
already under the cover. So how these guys are going to expand their business? Obviously, the first thing is to do a tie up with a aggregator like you, which has a reach. But I believe you met with a lot of such people in
Yep.
your transition or in your journey.
Yes, yes, yes. Like I have come across some of the solution pitches basically from the techie team who really go under the hood to explain the solution, right? And there is a translator always needed, right? That's what I call myself most of the time. Like I'm just a translator who convert the technical solution into just say like this is the business problem which we solve. And if you understand it, it's the right for you. If it is not, it's not right. So keep it simple, keep it to the point. And if it is LLM customization or machine learning or Llama 2 or OpenAI or ChatGPT or DeepSeek, which is behind the scene, most of the business leader doesn't understand. They don't want to understand. I'm not saying each and every business leader doesn't want to know, but most of it, they go by the use case. Will it save me time? Will it save me money? And what activity you are gonna kind of fix, right? And what activity, what SLAs you are gonna improve, and how basically. And I was like, by doing XYZ, we can do that. And then there are second layers of discussions which happens, right? But if you don't kind of qualify the first discussion where it solves a problem and fix a use case, all these becomes a secondary topic. Everything is critical eventually, but I think the flow, the conversation has to be done in a right way. That's why, like you mentioned also, like some of these startups have these nice solution, but the kind of the reach to the market, if you kind of don't explain it right, it doesn't go anywhere else as well. So and
Mm.
that's kind of the bridge or the gap which we try to solve as well. That take the business problem, give it to the guys who can build the solution as well, or the solution which has been built, take it to the business, right? So there is a gap, there is a void there which we can fix. Then that will be kind of helpful for everyone, basically, including us.
Very wide, very rightly explained and simplified version of what the challenges which you have seen from the lot of entrepreneurs. And that's the biggest nightmare for the any entrepreneur who are coming from the hoods or from the incubators, but they are actually getting a very tight and tough time from the same customer. Mm,
Yes.
uh, Now, we have seen you talking more on the Gen AI, right? Now, I want you to take us some steps back and treat and modify and give the message of what this Gen AI understanding from your perspective to a common person who is not so technical savvy, right? He heard Gen AI. So, what do you mean by Gen AI? So, Gen AI from Atul Khanna's, wisdom and experience.
No, Gen AI or AI or machine learning or LLM or all these or every word is being used very interchangeably these days, right? But Gen AI being the most common word, right? Uh, so what Gen AI means for enterprises is if you want to kind of automate or execute any of your tasks, basically, it can be replicated with an automation as well, right? So you don't have to use all the big jargons and the buzzwords to kind of make it happen as well, right? So for enterprises, the simple answer is if you want to kind of predict what you want to do or automate anything you want to do, that's where Gen AI comes into play, right? And it relies heavily on the data, whether your in-house data or in case your use cases are using external data, use your data to find what you want to do or predict what you want to do or solve some of the use cases because there are so many use cases regarding OPEX saving, CAPEX saving investments, depending upon kind of which industry you are focusing on. These automation use cases, AI use cases, which were not which were feasible obviously in the past decade as well, but using some standard algorithms now has gone, I would say, multifold proportion with this Gen AI capabilities which are out there now.
Hmm. And if I mix with the Gen AI as a powerful tool, so what is your plans for next couple of years to scale up, and what benefit you are going to provide to your target customers?
So it's not a one word or a single fold answer as well because every industry has a different use case, has a
Hmm.
different requirements. Although if I say it in a one line, it's a data centric requirement. But I know data is such a common word which everybody use. So whether you talk about fintech industry or medical industry, if I say it really at a 36,000 feet level, there is a data coming in to kind of find the signatures of what is going on and then find either predicting or finding anomalies and then fixing something in the fixing something which has happened in the past to find out what happened or find out what next steps you need to take it in the future as well, right? So depending upon which industry you want to kind of focus on, all these use cases varies, but under the hood, it's a simple data in to kind of get your data out. Although it becomes very, very rudimentary, but eventually this is what is going on as well
Hmm.
because all these trained models are doing not doing a simple task. I don't want to say that
Hmm.
there are multi-billion dollars being spent, but at the end of the day, this is what is going to happen and what is going on and what's the requirement is also. It's not a exceptional requirement at the end of the day.
Hmm. Oh, very well explained. Uh, Now, when you talk about the enterprises, you know, obviously one part of the coin, one side of the coin is where you have to be an AI centric or AI, you have to enable yourself with the AI. But another thing which comes is the ROI. It's generally a big question mark coming from the CFOs. So, what benefits you have seen or you can predict to specifically to the enterprise that want to integrate the AI driven solutions or the offerings around it? So what is your perspective around
Yeah, no, I think ROI in any case is a I would say standard measurement for
it?
any of the tools or any of the solutions which they are buying or any of the new initiatives they are kind of building it in as well, right? So ROI calculation is I think there has been so many news out there as well that ROI calculation is not straightforward.
Hmm.
Uh, so what we have seen is, or what kind of solutions which we have deployed in the market, or we have built for our enterprises also, the ROI is based on the amount of time or dollars that is going to get saved, right? Eventually. So we launched a couple of solutions. We call it AI Bid Assist for some federal contract as well, where the solution is kind of 1/10 of the cost of the person, which is kind of manually can do the same task as well, right? Eventually, anything you can do it manually as well, right? Because that's what the AI is going to do as well. You can spend months and months and do the same task, which you can do it in seconds too, right? So the ROI for that is a simple math. You are giving a 10K or 15K to a guy monthly, basically to kind of do some X activities for you. You can log into the system and do manually write on a piece of paper and get it done. And that's what some of the enterprises were doing it. So we built a solution AI based, which kind of figure out the federal contracts and then get it done for the 1/10 of the cost as well, right? And similarly on the other example also, we launched a the kind of to find the ROI and find the some of the solution. We launched a AI Academy as well, right? The training to kind of train people on how do you kind of understand these technologies? How do you want to implement it in your day-to-day system as well? More from a either from a cybersecurity point of view or from a telco network, from a 5G point of view, or there are like a Power BI point of view or from a Microsoft Copilot point of view. How do you kind of utilize some of these technologies to build solution for yourself or implement solutions within your organization as well, whether you get it from externally or build it in-house. So those things are there as well, which can easily help the enterprises to focus on their kind of a legacy way of kind of doing an ROI calculation using the AI built into it as well.
You make me curious and excited both when you talk about these, the solution like AI bid assist or the AI Academy and some co-pilot which you mentioned about. So, uh, are they really needed at this pace? One thing is you obviously you can save some money, you can save the time, obviously, but are they really bringing a AI flavor like which we talk about the visionary world of, where the solution is doing everything, in a blink of a eye. So is it really happening?
Yeah, no, I think so. Like if I talk about the AI bid assist, right? Very simple solution. In a now I can say that because kind of for the federal contract, this is applicable for any of the state contracts as well, right? There are like there is a money on the table, right? Let's say it this way: there are federal contracts, there are thousands of companies who are kind of going after these contracts, state level, federal level, right? And it's from few hundred K to few $1 million as well, right? So when you talk about these solutions, like how this is being built or how this, if I rewind 10 years back, if somebody needed this, they have to go into those, those websites, those federal contracts, download it, do some Excel sheet, do some automation to figure it out. And then it's all keyword searches, right? So now with this AI, it's all intent based, so now there's a more power behind the scene instead of saying like this construction contract which I want to get it right. Instead of construction has to be a construction word in there to figure it out. Now it's more intent based with this AI. You can easily maneuver the entire federal contract system to figure it out and then get it kind of and then obviously after that it needs to be kind of parsed and do it in a standard format to kind of make it visible for the enterprises to kind of use that content which has been created as well, right? So those things are becoming very, very easy with this AI, which was not possible a decade back, right? Where it was still an automation, but still a semi-manual automation where there are keyword searches and some of the existing ways of to find out what kind of contract you need to focus on. So to build that solution I would say 10 years back would have taken us, I don't know, a few months. Now it taken us less than 2 weeks to kind of get this up and running and get the POC started. And now it's so maneuverable that instead of one industry, you want to focus on a second industry. It can be easily tweaked within a day or so itself compared to what would have been possible a decade back or maybe 5 years back itself.
You reminded me those sleepless night where I used to manually search these contracts and spending a lot of efforts. Still, I was not convinced as a sales guy that whatever I am selecting is really fit for my company. Well, it's a very complicated now. Yes, one of the beautiful use case which you mentioned. Thank for. I understand if we go into this use case, it will, the whole session will get completed on this topic. But yeah, thanks for bringing it up, and I'm pretty much sure the people will start talking with you because it's a really a heavy lifting for any of the organization.
Yeah.
Right. One thing which still I want to ask the similar questions, and which is very practical one, that what are the biggest barrier companies are facing while adopting the Gen AI, and generally how they can overcome in today's time.
I would say that the biggest hurdle, or it's more in the head, basically. That's how I can say that bluntly. But the main reason is, I would say, the legacy ways of working, right? They have an existing business, so I will kind of favor them as well by saying they have an existing business, running business, right? And which is bringing them the revenue, right? And nobody likes disruption. Everybody likes to talk about disruption, but nobody likes to execute disruption within themselves as well, right? So, because it's a lot of retraining of their existing resources with the possibility of getting an ROI, or with the possibility of getting new stuff done in the future, right? Whether it's a month away or whether it's a 6 months away, right? Depending upon which organization you are talking about. That's that's the kind of the main hurdle for them, the existing ways of working. So that's what I generally recommend to kind of all the enterprises that I am talking to kind of start in a very simple way to kind of test the water, maybe execute or implement AI in one domain, or wherever you have most repetitive tasks going on, or wherever you are having the most people working on, or wherever you are spending the most OpEx, or wherever you have the biggest SLA. Kind of create those problem statements and give it out basically, and let's see how it can be improved and it can be implemented, right, with this current new ways of working as well, so that you don't disrupt the whole system.
Mm.
You disrupt a portion of it, whether it's the most important or the least important in your organization. It's going to be a different call for different enterprises, but to start implementing it, because if you don't, you are going to be kind of falling behind month over month and year over year, because other companies have started to focus on it and implement it. So they have to come out of their biggest hurdle. And now these AI solutions are not the most expensive solution, which is kind of still a mindset for some of the enterprises, that if I need an AI implementation, it's a multi-million dollar deal, right? But
Mm.
no, some of these use cases that we solve is like couple of hundred Ks only, or couple of Ks monthly only, basically, which can be easily implemented and get them started. And once you kind of see the benefit of it, whether in a SLA or whether in a dollars point of view, you want to kind of roll it into your other part of the organizations as well.
Mm. Rightly mentioned the mindset, the which is in their heads. So that's how the people are taking it, and which is becoming a big resistance how to handle that. No one likes disruption, but everyone talks about the disruption. Beautiful statement. I personally like it. Thanks for bringing it up. Uh, when I talk about the example, the real world cases, as you said, because now you are talking with multiple enterprises. So, what problem statement which you have seen is mostly, standard across the various industries, whether they are technology, fintech, XYZ. What are the first problem which you think that AI can give a one sort of a capsule which can be implemented by every company, and that can solve a one problem, maybe 1/10 of the problem. So,
Yeah, I would say there's no one problem. Let me say it this way, but the 36,000 feet one problem is the OpEx.
mm,
So everybody wants to implement AI to save on OpEx, and that's for pretty much for any new technology also, like how it can save me the cost. Because obviously you will implement a capex, but they want to save on opex, right? Because that's where they know they are selling it to clients, whether they are product or whether they are selling services. At the end of the day, they know they are going to get an X revenue, and then they have a Y expense going on, and X minus Y is their margins. And first, they want to kind of reduce their Y by a certain percentage by implementing any of these solutions. so that eventually they can improve on their X. So that one is they can focus on their X, which is their revenue or their bookings basically. But the most common theme is the save on OpEx. And when I say save on OpEx means then it's a book of worms, right? Depending upon which organization you are talking about. But it's more of a data-centric decisions and execution which they want to do. Uh, because obviously the fintech industry is entirely different from the healthcare industry because their use cases are extremely different and compared to the telco industry as well, right? The use cases are extremely different. And depending upon what use cases you want to solve to save on the OpEx, that's generally the common theme in all the industries across basically.
Hmm. And you're spot on to that, because if we are not able to save the dollars, then what's the use of investing in the in highly advanced technology, which is AI, Gen AI?
Yeah.
So we'd like to hear some real world use cases where Atreno has helped the businesses leverage Gen AI for their tangible business impact. Although I know you told about the AI businesses, but yeah, something.
Yeah, no, so I would say that's one of the common ones basically which we built as well. And then there are other AI solutions like the network infrastructure monitoring basically, which is kind of AI assisted as well. Uh, which are AI assisted as well, to kind of monitor the network, monitor the passive infrastructure network as well, right? To find out what are the possible issues which might be happening as well, and then what needs to be fixed around the same as well, right? Like what kind of a problem statement. Am I still audible?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. And
I'm
you're
just the AirPods being used, so somehow the messages were coming on the top. Sorry. Um, Yeah, so I think
you're talking about the
sorry,
passive. You're talking about the passive.
sorry, I lost my thought. Yeah, so I think that there are other use cases also, which is like I was mentioning the passive infrastructure monitoring as well. Yeah, so those use cases are being deployed heavily in some of the organizations as well. And similar to those, I think there are some of the other activities which are happening in the similar domain, which is helping them save on some of the OpEx cost as well.
I know there's a plethora of the opportunities. Every industry has a multiple numerous use cases which can be solved. The only thing is how to. But what I can see now is a bigger picture, how to make the planet sustainable. Optimize the energy, solving the
Uh,
problem, save the dollars. And have a happy life.
Yes, yes, yes. I think saving the carbon footprint is another kind of a challenge which is going on. So we have some use cases on some of the data center carbon footprint as well to kind of save on those costs as well. So they're into the initial discussion stages as well to kind of find out because I think everybody's talking about these data centers or these cloud infrastructure and these AI workloads, which is taking a lot of energy consumptions. So how do
Exactly.
you make it green and how do you kind of reduce some of these energy consumptions by using the data from the system itself, right? So those things are also there, like some of the cloud cost optimization, because once you optimize the cloud cost, basically it can help you save on some of the carbon footprints as well. So there are indirect and direct benefits around the same as well.
No, no, thanks for bringing again. It's a lengthy topic, but yes, uh, because in this race, not race of bringing the AI, but this in the current race of the technology and other things, we are actually leaving our planet in a very bad shape. So,
Yes.
so greenhouse effects and and this global warmings are the example which we all are facing, whether we are sitting in the Indian market or in the Western market. We know the challenges are very extreme. So thanks for bringing all these points. It's very important to may have the sustainability impact to for ours as well as for the next generation.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right. You mentioned about the integration. which, and this is the first question which comes in any of the enterprises, how to integrate with their existing workforces. Obviously the workforce should also be get integrated, the processes will be there. So share some of the example, like how you are handling such type of hard resistance, and how you are convincing the customer that the legacy will not be disrupted, and they will get a beautiful benefits of the claims which AI is making and the promises the AI is making to them.
Yeah, no, I think that's main, like I mentioned, that's the main hurdle, right? That's the main mindset hurdle for enterprises to adopt AI also, because they have existing ways of working, and there's a big disruption which is possibly happening if you bring a new kind of a ways of working or a new solution itself, right? So the integration challenges which is happening, or possibly I would say in the mind itself, basically. So some of these solutions which I kind of took it to the market are working in the back end. The back end in the sense, like in one of the use case where we are for the fiber design network, right, where there's the data that needs to be collected from the field itself. Uh, that then there is a pole load analysis. There's a whole nine yard which needs to be done in the back end to create some reporting for the end client, right? There are 10 steps out there, and those 10 steps are being done in a manual, semi-automated, and automated way currently by one of our customers. So they were when we shared our solution to them, so their focus was, I would say, they were organized one in the sense, heads off to them, they knew what they want as well, and our solution kind of fit right into their pocket itself. Which kind of what that mean is, while collecting the data in the field itself, for some of these pole load analysis, we capture it using our AI solution, where we kind of capture some of those field heights which can be tagged there and then itself, and it feed into their ecosystem of the next steps itself, where some of those reports are being generated and can be fed into their end client as well. So what that mean is, it was a minimum disruption, but fed into the existing workflow engine of their existing ways of working, which was a minimal disruption to them. Obviously, there's some training which needs to be done for their fielders to kind of adopt to this new AI solution, but it's a very contained environment. But the eventual goal, the eventual wish list is extremely different as well, right? So if I talk about the phase 10 of the same solution,
Mm.
is that we can kind of calculate some of those load analysis as well. The pole load analysis creates the report and then kind of get it submitted into the end client system with the quality check, with some of the audits in place as well. But we intentionally took a phase one, phase two, phase three, four approach, basically, so that we kind of make a small disruption, automate some of those systems, and then kind of take it further and further and further, because that's the right approach as well. Because I would say overhauling their entire system, and with this one, obviously, we'll integrate into their existing system, which, because there are n number of other systems which are utilizing some of the data which is being captured as well, right? So all the other hurdles which possibly might be coming up kind of got satisfied by kind of doing a step-by-step approach.
And in this phase approach, you are actually also controlling it, so that
Yes,
it should not get spilled to the other phases, or the it should not impact the other phases, or not phases, but the releases or the feature which you are planning to implement. Yeah,
yes, yes, yes. Yeah, because obviously, like entire five level of organization shouldn't get disrupted with one solution, right? Because then it becomes a hard sale, and then it becomes a hard implementation as well, right? So the eventual data which they are getting, they're still getting the similar data instead of now somebody doing it manually. Now it's getting done using an AI solution, which is more accurate now. So once they start to kind of get used to it, then we can kind of automate the next stuff. But the part was to initially integrate into their existing system, and then build a capability in the front end itself.
And you are actually making the stakeholders party to it, as you said.
Yes,
The people buy from people, and the people have to develop a trust. So in this way of hand holding, I understand it's a lengthy process, it's not an
yes,
easy one. You are not getting a dollars immediately, but yes, this
yes.
is going to have a longer impact as well.
Yeah, no, I think, and that's what I see as as the right way of doing it too, and I think it's the right approach as well. because obviously there are going to be some enterprises who are going to disrupt the entire system by kind of ripping apart a solution and then implementing a new one altogether. But I don't know what percentage of people will do that, but I know it's very, very less, because everybody, like I said, has a existing ways of working, and they are making a good dollars out of it, and they are spending a good dollars out of it, right? And they have a decent margins going on. uh, for them, there is no logical reason to adopt AI other than using ChatGPT to write emails, right,
Mm,
and fix grammars. So when you kind of talk about a solution, it becomes like a no-brainer for them. They still come from that background that if I sell more, I'll have more. Why do I need AI? AI will not help me sell more. But that's why like AI is gonna help you save on the OpEx so that you have the bandwidth to sell more. So it's an indirect impact. Some people understand, some not.
yeah. So hand-holding mindset, everything has to come together. And obviously, it's AI is not like an off-the-shelf program that you are just buying and getting it from the store and you implementing it. It is a
Yes. Yeah, now with this Chat GPT, DeepSeek, some of those hands-on, which all of us has got it and got used to it as well, and everybody expect all the solutions to work like that. That has
Mm,
become a standard. So in one of the conversation I'm having with one of my prospective client, they want to kind of do some kind of a data processing on, they have lots of documents which they want to process and then get some content out of it, get some data, some SLAs out of it as well, and some of the contract values, which is easier said than done as well. But they say like, can we try this solution? I say like, you want the system to work on your documents and which portion you want to work on, then you haven't told me any of these things. Then how do you expect my solutions to work on it? Obviously, we work on similar documents, but obviously from a different industry, right? So we still
mm,
have to fine tune it to your document, and then you can kind of test it out. But as of now, vanilla, you will try it. It's not ChatGPT which is gonna spit out something, right?
uh,
So those kind of mindset also there to kind of make some corrections, that and people understand, who understand the technology, they understand that it's not just a dumping of a solution which is going to start working, right? There's a For enterprises, it needs to be customized, it needs to be fine tuned, but the tuning is very, very minimal because the legwork has been done. So that's why I say like the solutions that we bring to the table needs to be customized a little bit. So within a week or 2 weeks, it can be customized to kind of look into a different set of documents and then parsing it to your requirements and then spitting out the results what you want to achieve, right? So those are easily doable instead of building something from the scratch, and it's an automation where you dump documents on the left and then get document on the right? So those things have changed drastically now.
that's a paradigm shift, right? So what
Yes.
we were thinking to be done, which no one has thought about, that it can also, be automated or maybe, making it a lighter mode is very, very much possible. Uh,
Yes.
One question which always comes in my mind, and as well as I have heard this statement also from a lot of speakers as well. One is called AI in security, and that's another one is called security in AI, right? So when it comes to this security part, there's something called ethical. So the ethical concerns around this data privacy, biasing, security, always, these factors are continue to grow and rise. So how does Atreno ensure that businesses implement AI responsibility, as well as maintaining the compliance, which is as per the global regulations?
Yeah, so I'm nobody to kind of comment on the global regulation for obvious reasons. I think that is still being talked about and discussed as well. So there was a AI Paris summit, I think last week or 2 weeks back itself, where all these different countries are kind of coming together to kind of bring the regulations around it as well, right? I'm too small to comment on it, but the way we focus on AI, obviously, we kind of keep the data security and ethical AI right at the core itself, right? The security and the data centric place, right? So we do follow the GDPR and other kind of a compliance regulations which are out there from different countries, and we kind of follow those right at the core itself. But the main difference between us and I would say focus on the global regulation part is basically What we do is we focus on the enterprise data. We don't take it obviously to the public world. Let's say it this way. Obviously, it still works in the cloud, but we don't take it to the public world itself, because all our LLMs are tuned using the enterprise data itself, obviously tuned from an external data source to kind of get it up and running as well, and then it kind of get fine tuned from the customer data, which stays kind of within that boundary walls itself. And there are regulations and checks and balances in place to make sure the data doesn't so that it's all biased towards the data which is available to them, although I'm using a critically wrong word, being biased, but biased towards the data which is out there, right? So that all the decisions or the predictions or all the activity which is happening is based on the data which has been provided as well. So it's not getting influenced from the public data itself, so that it kind of start making any wrong decisions too, right? So that's why we kind of keep all the security and ethics in place at the core itself while building those solutions. So all these solutions are AI native solution itself, and then focusing on the standard regulations which are available, but still contained into the data which is available from the enterprises.
Hmm. Yeah, so GDPR and its compliance is obviously every enterprise is following their own thing because everyone has their, has their HQs at the different places and they have their bigger boundary walls which has been set out. So thanks for bringing this up because this it's a bigger topic and most of the enterprises are actually scared when they talk about sharing their data with the external party.
Yes, yes, yes. No, that's why we always make sure that all the compliance are kind of maintained as well, and we don't take the data, kind of take it to the public information or get tuned from the public information as well, right? So we definitely have our LLMs customized and modified and tuned for certain set of data, and then it gets fine-tuned from the customer data to kind of make it use for them. Like I said, this data processing for this document part, the LLMs has been created and tuned for it as well. But if you're gonna kind of do any processing for you, we kind of fine tune to your requirements as well, so that it kind of use all the standards and the regulations of the documents that you are providing as well, and then kind of implementing the use case according to it.
Well noted. This is very important, and most of the organization will get definitely a benefit or maybe a direction to take this topic very seriously and obviously in a controlled manner. Right.
Yeah.
So, Atul, what advice would you like to give to the business leaders and the decision makers who are considering the adoption of Gen AI, but they are not sure from where to start with?
I would say my answer is simple. It's just one line answer. I would say start small, but start ASAP. Because if you don't start, and if you don't start early, somebody else is starting as well. And if you don't start it, you will be falling behind, and then it will be a harder and harder implementation. And don't think of, I would say, like I use the words, don't try to solve the word hunger, basically. So take a simple use case and get used to it, get it implemented. Start small, and you will start to see reap the benefit out of it, right? And don't get into the ROI model and the time saving model into a P&L format to the extent that you have the habit to do it in the past, right? So I would say give it a bit of a luxury or a leeway for that, because you cannot calculate each and every minute and a dollar to the penny level, right? As of today. And all these LLMs, all the savings that you're gonna see is gonna be available. Most of these use cases, most of these solutions are, you will start to see the benefit of it within a month itself. I can easily guess that, because most of our use cases can be implemented quickly, and you can start seeing the benefit or the POC benefits within a month itself. So it's not like a 6 month or a year plan, unless you are kind of building something from the scratch itself, right? That might have a long term answer, but most of these use cases, you can see the benefit to kind of either kind of implement it further or discard it out and then take the next one in, right? So but let's say, like, the simple answer is start small but start ASAP. Otherwise it will be a harder and harder implementation, because others are kind of starting to implement and then starting to reap the benefit out of it as well.
And what advice would you like to give to the professionals who want to become an entrepreneur and especially adopting the Gen AI or the AI stuff in their ventures?
So, so, so my answer to that will be, if you're building a solution, don't work on the solution, work on the problem statement. I know most of the techie entrepreneurs, they like to build a solution first, before they kind of look at the business problem itself, right? So it's always a top-down approach. Obviously, I come from that background. That's how my focus area has always been, to kind of understand what you are trying to solve and then build the solution accordingly. So instead of trying to fit a square to a circle, or square to a circle, or circle to a square, find out which market you are going after, and then how you can solve that solution, how you can solve that problem statement using your solution. And then build, I would say, small mini solutions. That's what I saw. It's like, first you have to cast a bigger nest and then slowly kind of contain your nest itself, right? Because if you are first time entrepreneur, you cannot be 100% accurate that I want to go into this market and do this and then get this much benefit out of it. Just assume that after 3 months into it, you will have a direction change as well. And so start broader, but not too much broad as well. And then slowly expect that you will kind of maneuver your ship with all the hurdles that you're gonna see and all the feedbacks that you're gonna receive, and then maneuver it accordingly. So when I started, obviously I was kind of casting a bigger nest to kind of understand the market, and then slowly and steadily I start to contain my nest as well. Like, this is my focus area, this is what I can do, and then kind of change my direction accordingly. Not an extreme change, but a small changes has to be made accordingly as well.
Because your positioning matters, your brand matters, and what the message you are carrying to the world, it creates a huge impact. And every day you are
Yes.
spending into that, it's creating a bigger positioning of you across the professional world. Yeah.
Yes. Not definitely, definitely. I think because you have to understand what's the market requirement are, and then kind of play it according to the market requirements, not what your solution you carry at the end of the day, right? And you
Mm.
have to sometimes build solution or maneuver solutions according to that as well. So like the change is inevitable if you are starting something new, and be adaptive to that change as well, because that's how you can kind of win some of the market share, and then kind of maybe go back to your original idea if it is extremely different as well, or kind of maybe it's a version 10 of the original idea that you started with.
And that's the part of the process, right? What where
Yeah.
you started and where you reach, definitely there's a huge division, and that's the market who makes you to change it.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to sell what you want to sell, you want to sell what other wants to buy.
Right. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So thank you, Atul, for sharing your expertise on scalable Gen AI solutions, the vision of Atrano, and how you are helping the businesses, enterprises for to get a real taste of AI and solving their problems. So your insights, your passion, and your courage to become an entrepreneur is really remarkable, and it's a motivational for many, including me as well. So thank you so much. But any last message which you want to share with the audience?
No, not really. No, thanks, Deepak. Thanks for the invitation. I think the only last message is, I would say, uh, if you want to be an entrepreneur, definitely give it a shot. Definitely give a long thought before you kind of hit the market as well. But if you have kind of made up your mind, do give it a shot as well. Although it's a scary ride as well, but it's a comfortable ride too. And the end goal, obviously, some are gonna win, some are gonna lose. But when you lose, you still win something by learning something new as well. So which is definitely helpful in case you go back to the corporate world as well. So you will have a different kind of a learning and a different kind of experience. So do try it out.
And anyone who want to connect with you for your AI solutions or maybe a AI discussion with you, so what would be the right media to to get connected?
No, obviously, definitely, you can always reach out to me on my email, my LinkedIn. My contact information is also on my LinkedIn as well. Atul Khanna at Riano, or if you search it up, I should be able to find it. And I think Deepak, you might post it
I
on
will.
your LinkedIn post as well, so I should be available. Yeah, I'm in California time zone, so just before you ping me, expect the time zone difference wherever you are, and then definitely I'm always available.
Thank you so much for all your lovely experience. Not exactly lovely, I know. It looks lovely, looks easy, but how the entrepreneurship journey is not so easy. But thanks for crafting it in a right wording, and the people will definitely get a lot of insights and a lot of direction also, because which is missing at this time. So thank you once again, Atul.
Yeah, thanks, Deepak. Thanks for your time.
So guys, until next time, this is Deepak Bajaj signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.